Some pom-pom in your head.
I am very tall. Thank you.
Stop moving.
I won't stand, that's why I stand here.
Oh my god, how many pages?
Only 3, I can't unfold this one, hang on. Right. Thanks, Phil, for your kind words and an excellent speech, even though your notes were surprisingly brief. Good evening, everyone. My name's Rhys. I am the second best man this evening. We've already had Phil, obviously, and I'd just like to say, noswaith dda, boneddigion a boneddigesau. Chroeso I Llanystumdwy. Before I start the traditional duty of making Tom feel a little uncomfortable for a few minutes, I'd just like to say thank you to Tom on behalf of the bridesmaids for your kind words and toast. So thanks for that. And the bridesmaids also look fantastic, both the best. As Phil's repeating what he said, we didn't really coordinate our speeches. You may have guessed. I'm sure you'll agree that my Vanway looks amazing. I mustn't forget to mention the other important part of this little family, Arthur Sausage Bach. Looked amazing as usual, so woof woof to him. I must mention the organisation and execution of today has been impressive, from the service to the venue to the food. I'm sure the Gloucester and Griffith families have been very busy behind the scenes. Hopefully the dance floor will be up to the pounding of what we're bound to receive later. George, Dave, Jill. Phil has covered a bit about how Tom and Vanway met and all that's entailed. I'll now concentrate a little more on the main man himself, Thomas Joseph Gloucester, or some people might know him, the Toadmeister, Titmoss, I don't know how that came about, or simply Tom. I first met Tom in Beavers. Easy. At the age of about 6, in about 1986. For those of you who don't know, Beavers is the precursor to Cubs. I remember turning up at the Scout Hall in Criccieth for the first time to be confronted by this regime of uniforms, procedures, special handshakes, and a very strict and slightly intimidating leader, Arkayla.
That was Cubs, not Beavers.
It's a story!
I quickly formed a friendship with Tom, as he seemed to know how to handle this Arkayla, and turns out it was his mother. Yeah. Got a timing on there. Tom and I have been friends ever since that day, almost 30 years ago. But thankfully, we are still not Beavers. We progressed to the Cubs. Though the timing was wrong there, I do apologise. Still under the watchful eye of Arkayla, though. This is also where I met some of the many gingers in my life. Phil and Pete. Both ushers and best man this evening. We managed to keep in touch throughout our school years. Tom really never wanted to defile the crowd and always found new and interesting things to do, like collecting keys, being slightly obsessed with the cardboard osprey he'd built.
Still got it.
And maintaining his 3 pairs of identical shoes. After primary school, Tom went away to secondary school, or so we were led to believe. I actually think Tom went to train with a circus. Whenever we met up in the school holidays, he picked up a new act or skill, and none of us could equal. I don't know how long it takes to learn to ride a unicycle, but Tom managed it in less than half a term, so he must have been doing it full time. I thought I had him on the juggling front, but not only could Tom juggle by the autumn half term, by Christmas he was juggling in the dark with 5 glow-in-the-dark clubs whilst whistling a tune. There was one thing though that Tom was a little slow at learning, and that was drinking. He's the only person I know that couldn't face an Alka-Seltzer in the morning because the fizzing was too loud. That is actually a true story. It is true. I won't talk about what happened before that.
Or where?
Or when. So anyway, that's a good point. Or when. So anyway, Tom has never really been into maths, literature or science at school, as you may have guessed by now. But towards the end of secondary school, something has started dawning on Tom, sorry.
No pun intended.
His calling in life started to become apparent. He'd woken up his creative side. So off went Tom to Coleg Meidion Dwyfor, down the road to do a foundation in art, and then on to university in Derby to study applied arts.
Derby in the house.
Common materials used by artists to express themselves include paint, paper, wood, textiles and so on. But Tom being Tom, he thought he'd do things a bit differently. Maybe he didn't know what was happening. Maybe he was confused. But he started sculpting and shaping and pushing the boundaries, created all kinds of weird and wonderful creations. Unfortunately for Tom, however, his chosen media was his hair. And this meant he spent a few years walking around with a mobile modern art gallery for a head. Lucky for him and us, he no longer has this problem. For obvious reasons, though he still has a beard fetish.
In the place it grows.
Yeah. During the first summer at university, Tom, Pete and myself went on a camping trip to Cornwall. And we found that Tom's artistic talent lay not only in his creating things, but in song and dance too. He spent far too long in a bar consuming shandies one afternoon. The bar was filling up, the music was getting louder as the evening progressed. Tom managed to return from the toilets just as his favourite song of all time came on the speakers.
Steps.
And I just had to look up some lyrics from that said song just so I could read them out because they're quite amusing. Tragedy. Here I lie in a lost and lonely part of town, held in time in a world of tears I slay. He knows the words. Going home, I just can't make it all alone. I really should be holding you, loving you, loving you. So it's quite apt for tonight, I think. It was quite a spectacle. Hopefully you can see a reenactment tonight at the dance floor, Tom.
He doesn't have it.
He will. Spotify.
CDs in your bedroom.
Following university, once they convinced him to stop playing with his hair, Tom moved back to North Wales and started his career as a ceramicist, making pots, ceramic cards and lots of other innovative pottery wares. He went off the rails a bit when he tried to combine sheep with ceramics. Apart from that, it's fair to say he's done rather well at it. I'm not sure how many people who cope with their own company with just a kiln for company. But Tom's put in the hours and now reaping the rewards. Not only does he give pots to people for their birthdays and weddings, but actually sells more than he can make, so it's quite a testament to his work. Aside from reenacting the pottery wheel scene from Ghost daily,
You just don't carry stuff behind you, do you?
Just don't touch.
Tom enjoys a few other activities, primarily swimming, cycling and running. I tried to put Tom off cycling 10 years ago by making him cycle from coast to coast, which as I recall almost broke him. But I think in fact it made him more determined to get into cycling, and perhaps he enjoyed the calluses.
Yeah.
Tom also got into doing triathlons for a few years. I think it's because he combined three of his favourite pastimes: shaving bodily hair, tight clothing, and getting free backside massages on the NHS.
Fair enough.
I think part of Tom's obsession with cycling and running so much was running around trying to find that special someone in his life. As it turns out, she just stumbled into his workshop once and had a cup of tea. He's not sure running around enough to cause a stress factor in his foot was actually necessary in the end. As you all know now, Tom has settled down in Portmaddock, running a coffee shop with Mrs. Gloucester and his little child, Arthur. I thought it a little odd they decided to open a coffee shop. Tom doesn't even like coffee. However, I realised that Tom had been scheming since the start and has recently achieved his goal: fire-baked pizzas in your own living room. Yeah. Oh, yes. So, after all these years, we're still great friends. There have been highs, tops off.
Don't say that too loud.
Coming
Sorry, I
10th.
didn't hear that one.
Maybe later. Easy, Sheila. Coming 10th in the first UK Adventure Decathlon a few years ago. Cycling coast to coast and beard experimentation. There have been lows, like when I set Tom on fire with an aerosol once. When Tom went off the radar, I thought he didn't like me. Turns out he just bought a sausage dog. And of course, there was the flaming Sambuca night, which I came off worse. It was a low. I still got the job. Seriously, we've always been great friends, and our friendship was galvanised last year when Tom asked me to look after sausage while they were on honeymoon. Being asked to be best man is like being asked to make love to the Queen. It's a huge honour, but no one wants to do it. I am very honoured to be standing here now, and to bring my speech to a conclusion, I'd just like to... oh, hang on a second. Just hold on a sec. Yeah, I'm just checking Bavambo's Facebook feed. Yep, she's had a good day. I invite you all to charge your glasses, be upstanding, and join me in toasting the new Mr. and Mrs. Gloucester. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the bride and groom, Tom and the Van Roof. Cheers! Cheers!